Russell Westbrook's assault on the NBA history, Charles Barkley struggles to know the difference between girly man basketball and championship basketball. And will the Sixers ever let Nerlens Noel play again? All that and more in this edition of the NBA Files. Let's ball. Peace, NBA fans, and he's Roy Burton. I'm Kwame Fisher-Jones. This is the NBA Files, broadcasting from Gary's Barbershop, 12 East Main Street, Maple Shade, New Jersey. Opening tip.
Let's get it.
Russell Westbrook, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Waffle back and forth about if I want to go girly man or Russell Westbrook.
Can't say that. Can't say that.
But I want to go Russell Westbrook.
Let's do it.
Ride through history. Can he, the big question, the obvious question, the question in front of everybody, can he keep the pace up?
Before the season, we had talked about this before, and we thought that he was going to be set for a campaign of epic proportions. I said 28, 8, and 8. He's done, well in excess of that. I don't think he can keep this up, only because people are going to start keying on this guy. Because when you start hunting for rebounds and basically like leave your team wide open,
you think he's hunting for rebounds?
He's clearly hunting for rebounds. You see him cheat on rebounds. You see him cheat or like creep up into the paint, try to get like miss free throws. Teams are going to key on that. And when teams start keying on that, like if they don't want you to get 10 rebounds, they will go out of their way to make sure you don't get 10 rebounds. And that's the hardest part of the whole equation.
So here's the thing. I believe this is his pace. I believe it's not about him keeping this pace. This is how he plays. Similar to all your small guards, from Allen Iverson, Isaiah Thomas, this is how he plays.
Right.
So, and also, just a side note, this is why Durant got on the first thing smoking to get out of town.
Right.
Because if you look at the way the playoffs went as they were going down, he was moving at a different speed. You say it's hunting rebounds. I think he's just, to borrow a phrase that's teetering, I think he's going to the wall. Okay. I think everything is 100% with him at this point. And as much as teams adjust, Mo Cheeks, Billy Donovan will adjust. We'll see Oladipo getting back now. We'll see other, maybe that's why they make the trade for Jeremy Grant, to get another guy to get back with good foot speed. So not only do I think he keeps his pace up, I believe on All-Star break, he's going to take it up a notch.
He's going to give even better.
I think he's going to give you more.
This team has already given up 106 points a game playing like this, where this guy's cheating off of his man. It's going to get, and if he amps us up, they're going to give up 108, 110 points a game. That's not sustainable.
But
you can't win.
They're not a defensive juggernaut. They're not a team that's going to.
At some point, you got to win games.
Yeah, they're above 500 now.
They're above 500 now.
I'll say between hell on earth and...
I look at it from top to bottom. I think they creep into the fourth. I don't think the West, we talked about this before, I don't think the West is as top heavy as people believe. I borrow your phrase. I think it's top heavy in the sense that it's the Spurs, Warriors. That's it.
Okay.
There's not much difference between 3 and 10.
Okay.
So when you add that in there, we had the 3 to 10 in there, you're thinking to yourself, where does Westbrook fall in? Where do the Thunder fall in? Right. They fall in by doing their strengths, which is scoring, getting pressure on the ball, putting pressure on defense. They're not going to do much they're not going to do much defensively.
Right, but the thing is, like, they're only middle of the pack when it comes to offense. They're not like an offensive juggernaut. They're 12th in the league in offense, and they're middle of the pack when it comes to defense. No, as a team.
But as a team, they're not a championship contender right now.
Well, all right. So if they're not a championship contender, and he's going to amp it up more, and they're going to give up more points on defense, then like at some point, Billy Donovan is going to say, "Yo, we can't keep playing like this because we got to win basketball games."
Well, and that's the thing. I think they will win basketball games because he's good enough. He's one of the few players in the league that can win games by himself. You have other teams that have a combo. He is that combo. He's that delivering blow. So I think that my point is simple in the fact that keeping his pace up, they're not going to win a championship. So they're going to do things that are capable of winning that game.
Okay.
And by winning that game, he's good enough on the fly to do those things.
Okay.
As far as a pattern of teams adjusting, borrow a phrase from Mike Tyson, everybody got a plan to get hit. When Westbrook goes from end to end in less than 2 seconds, plan goes to hell.
Right.
Everything goes out the window. It's how I am not gonna let this dude run by me for the rest of the game.
Right.
So that's when he makes his. I watched the game the other day. I forget the team he played. He went up and got a rebound over 2 7-footers. What hand? This is not something
we
you
haven't
can't
seen.
prepare for that.
Yeah, we haven't seen a physical talent at that size in the NBA, maybe ever. Like maybe ever.
And you know, when his layups, offhand layups, he's got this little move where he comes into the deep. Like you've seen guys do this where they're using off arm.
Right.
You see a lot of smaller guards you see use an off arm.
Right.
LeBron does this.
LeBron does all the time. Yeah.
But posts little guards up, he uses off arm. He doesn't fully extend it. So he delivers it like that.
Yeah.
Westbrook does this thing. He keeps the arm and balance in, leans into the guy,
Right.
uses them to lean forward.
Right.
You can't prepare for that. So no one's going to be able to stop that. And no one's going to be able to contain that. And when he gets a gander of the film, when he gets a gander of the way the season's going, it's going to go up and
But
down.
the thing is, he's already at a historic usage rate. I mean, like 41%. Like basically half of the possessions of the Thunder possessions when he's on the court go end with him. Can they keep this up for another 4 months? That's a lot. I mean, I know. Look, he's a freak of nature. He's an excellent athlete. That's a lot to ask anybody to do for a 6-7 month stretch. It really is.
Every guy, every few years we get a player that changes the way things are done. And sometimes it doesn't evolve into a type. But when I look at a team, like for instance, I look at the Los Angeles Clippers, right? And your man Chris Paul, who I he's playing a little better this year.
Playing a little better.
He's playing a little better. Well,
He's got the LASIK going, so you know.
a guy named Sean Kilpatrick gave him 38. So I'll say he's playing a little better. Ish Smith gave him 16, 5 or 6 of those were down the stretch.
Okay.
But he lost the Pistons. So he's playing a little better. But when that's your competition in front of you, I like my chances with Westbrook.
Okay.
So can they keep it? I think you're looking more at the Oladipo, Steven Adams.
I like
Sabonis.
Oladipo. I like Steven Adams. I mean, like, my question is that so many possessions go through him. They're so Westbrook dependent that on those nights where it's not working, can you lean on the Enes Kanter? Can you lean on the Oladipo?
Always working.
Can you lean on the Oladipo
But it's always working
to score
for
you
him.
112 points because that's what you're going to need to win
But
basketball
it's
games.
always working for him. When is it not working for him?
It's always
Think of
working.
his last season and a half. When was it not working? Because last year he was doing a triple-double.
He was.
When was it not working for him?
There are going to be nights where it doesn't work.
What, so 8 for 36 nights?
Not 8 for 36. There's going to be nights where he doesn't go 31, 14, and 16.
So he'll go 22, 16, and 19.
No, but the thing is, they need him to go 31, 14, and 16
And he's
to
up
win
for it.
to win games.
This ain't
he's up
Kevin
for
Durant
it
we
for
talking
82
about.
games.
This ain't Steph Curry we talking about.
Okay.
These ain't, I said Charles Barkley said girly, everybody is okay, but I say girly, everybody gets upset.
Can't say it.
So we're not dealing with a tender player. We're dealing with a guy that goes 0, like the young boys say, young cats say, 0 to 100 real quick.
Yep.
So I don't think that's ever going to change. Grab the wheel, let's roll.
Okay.
And I said it before. When he sees the opportunity to go to the top 4 seeds and a chance playing the Golden State Warriors in the second round of the playoffs,
That's right.
where it's like, you think you're going to stop him? Who going to stop him? Give me somebody. Who going to stop him?
You saw what happened the first time those two teams met. I'm going to put it out there right there.
And you saw the look in his eyes.
You saw what happened.
You saw the look in his eyes.
I know what he wanted to happen,
what?
and I saw what happened.
Well, I like my chances with him.
Right.
And, I see a guy that's focused and ready to get it going. I believe he keeps the pace up, and I believe he stays consistent with being a killer. And speaking of consistency, we will come back and discuss the consistency that is Charles Barkley. We'll be right back. NBA Files.
I pay attention for a living. I watch plays and make important calls. While I'm busy watching a game, I need your help in keeping an eye on the stands. We all play a role in protecting our communities. If you see something suspicious, make the right call. Tell a law enforcement official.
Welcome back to NBA Files. You know what? Maybe I'm old school, but I'm never going to like little girly basketball where you have to outscore people. I'm biased against girl basketball, and I don't want it in the NBA. What the hell is wrong with him, man?
You know what? You brought this topic up. Well, A, because you had to, because we have to discuss this. You want to just kill my heroes. Like, I had a Charles Barkley poster on my wall growing up. I used to see it every morning.
I had a soap joint. I told you I had the soap Charles Barkley
Every
poster.
morning I woke up, I would see a picture of Charles Barkley coming down the lane about to dunk on somebody on my wall.
That's why you don't know what a championship looks like.
And now, and now,
Why you're ringless.
Every week, I got to hear this guy say something that makes. You don't like basketball where you have to outscore people? That's sports. Like Charles Barkley just, this bothers me to no end.
Okay.
Again, it's like, don't ever be a fan of anybody. Kids, don't ever be a fan of any athlete ever. All right? Because they'll always break your heart. They're always going to break your heart.
It's not true. He's right.
You don't like basketball where one team outscores the other.
No, he's right. It is girl basketball.
It's
well,
you
fun.
can't,
Hold on,
you can't say that.
Hold on. Hear me out. Hear me
Okay,
out.
all right.
It is girl basketball. It's fundamental, pure basketball the way it's supposed to be played. It's championship basketball. So of course, a man that played in three conference finals in an entire career that spanned, what, 19 years?
Yeah, about that.
Right? One NBA finals would not recognize championship basketball.
This is true.
Shaq didn't say that.
Shaq never said that. Kenny Smith?
Kenny Smith didn't say that.
Didn't say
Ernie
that.
Johnson didn't say that. The only person who said it was the man that is ringless. So of course it's girly basketball to him. Because in its principle, it is about ball movement.
Right.
It's about getting the defense off balance. So a guy that spent his entire career backing guys up, in which they had to institute a 5-second rule.
Right.
Right. A guy that nobody great ever wanted to really play with would not recognize that.
And here's the thing. He talks about, quote unquote, the girly basketball. Golden State has a top 5 defense. They have one of the more physical, probably illegally physical guys in the league in Draymond Green. You literally have a guy who kicks guys in the face playing defense for the Golden State Warriors. Meanwhile, Charles Barkley wasn't the greatest defender in the history of the world. I think we can both agree on that.
John Paxson is a hero. His last second shot because Charles gambled on defense.
Right.
At a point in the game where you don't gamble in the NBA Finals. But why are you? What are you going to? You're going to outrun Scottie Pippen?
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Well, the thing about it though, and I think what he was trying to say was he doesn't believe they're tough enough. The problem is there's basketball tough, and then there's real life tough.
Right.
Basketball-wise, Klay Thompson and Draymond Green are tough players.
Agreed.
Now, are they going to go out and smack you in the club? No, they're not. That's not what they do. But they are tough players. Steph Curry's a tough player.
Iguodala, tough player.
They're not guys that are going to, that are going to give an inch. So, but the problem I have with what he said was, no one seemed to question him in his basketball acumen. And what I mean by that is, and Kenny kind of did a little bit. He said they went to back-to-back NBA Finals.
Right.
But they should have asked him, well, where has that ever won? Where has this non-girly basketball ever won titles?
Right.
Because that's where the conversation, it's kind of like everybody who's won a title step forward, Charles sit down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the problem. So America got a great insight of why he shouldn't be in the position he's in. And I said that he should not be on a panel discussing basketball with champion, best in the profession, and Charles Barkley.
This is a guy who has admittedly said that he watches How to Get Away with Murder on Thursdays when he's supposed to be watching basketball games. God bless you, Charles, but you probably want to figure out something else to do. Not shoot that series called The Race Card, something that's completely off of TNT and not talking about basketball.
And they pay him a lot of money to be a character.
They do.
A character.
And people watch. People watch for a reason. For whatever reason, maybe statements like this, people keep watching Charles Barkley.
But in keeping with the Golden State Warriors, who seem to stay in the news for
Always.
numerous reasons.
Draymond Green.
Well, this one is Steph Curry. It's hard to say a guy that doesn't slide to one gender when his name is Steph. But Steph Curry, possibly contract situation coming up.
Yep.
You say you don't think I don't foresee him leaving, but I don't think it's crazy.
You don't think it's crazy that Steph Curry will leave the Warriors?
I don't think it's unlikely.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. Steph Curry was drafted. A lot of people don't remember this. He was not supposed to go to Golden State.
Right.
He was supposed to go to New York.
Right.
Who was the coach there in New York?
And when he was there?
When Steph was in the draft. It was Mike D'Antoni.
It was D'Antoni, yeah.
So pause for a minute and think, James Harden, who's balling. I got a little love from the barbershop crew. Gave me some credit. James Harden's balling.
Yes.
Replace James Harden with Steph Curry. You got a whole nother Houston team. That was what Steph envisioned when they were in the draft.
Right.
D'Antoni was in New York. Curry loves the big stage. Now, fast forward years later, there was a little bit of contentious contract negotiation going on because remember, he's not a max player.
Right.
Because he couldn't stay out of the tub.
Yeah.
Steph had bad ankles. You try to get away from the girly comment. Steph has bad ankles. But anyway, that
you can't help yourself. Go ahead.
It's too easy. But it's you think about that now for a moment. With a contract coming up, he's not cool with Kevin Durant. They are all right. He's not really cool with John B. Who wants out. He's all right with Draymond Green. He's not really partial to anybody or anything.
Why do you say he's not partial to these guys? I mean, he personally went to Kevin Durant in the offseason and said, I need help. He said, he literally, he told the man, he said, I need help.
Yeah, okay.
He said, I need help.
He gave him a tender moment, but who really convinced him?
Steph Curry.
No, he didn't. Draymond Green. Stop hating Draymond Green, man. Stop hating Dunk. Shrek. Stop hating Shrek. Draymond Green convinced Kevin Durant to come. They're all right, but I mean, the fact of the matter is it was Steph Curry's wife who cost him a title. And I said that because they weren't focused on playing the game. They're worrying about her running her mouth. You know what I mean? Jerry West, who brokered the deal, who mended fences, got him to stay for pennies on the dollar, because even when Steph came out of Davidson, he should have been the #1 pick. Blake Griffin was okay, but he missed the first year. I mean, he's not a bad player, but when you watch Steph Curry Davidson, you watch him do with 5 CYO players, 4 on the floor, 1 coming off the bench, who had no business in the position they were. So he was a dynamic force. He struggled. Monte Ellis. They had got Anthony Rudolph, Morrow were untouchables. Andres Biedrus. I think he's at a Burger King in Germany at this point. Look, Steph lit it up when and couldn't struggle finding a position. But the guys that believed in Steph and took him when he told Minnesota, the reason why Johnny Flynn got picked earlier, I'm good on you guys. Man, they're gone. Jerry West is making, commercials for heartburn or something?
Yeah.
You know, those dudes are no longer in the building, the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
So I don't foresee it happening, but let's not just push it away. Who would have known Kevin Durant leaves OKC?
Where would he go? That's the thing. It's like you don't have there's literally one better place for you to go to win an NBA title. He's not going there. So where would you go?
Let me ask you a question, legit question. Was Golden State that much better than OKC for Kevin Durant?
No.
So it doesn't matter.
No.
Doesn't matter. Some players will take a step back in their minds and take a step forward.
Okay.
So I don't think it's unlikely. I don't foresee it, but I don't think it's unlikely. Another thing unlikely, Klay Thompson possibly on the trading block. Yeah, that's what I said. For who? Hold up.
Okay.
For who? Let's finish your laugh.
No, I'm going to say you really believe that story.
I don't know if I believe the story, but I believe he may be on the trading block. We'll be right back. NBA Files.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Welcome back to the NBA Files. Roy Burton, Kwame Fisher-Jones coming to you from Gary's Barbershop, Maple Shade, New Jersey. We're going to keep it going with the Klay Thompson conversation because there were rumors for the past couple of weeks that Klay Thompson may be involved in a deal that also includes our favorite basketball team, the Philadelphia 76ers. Your thoughts on the whole situation?
Free New Orleans. That's my thoughts. Free New Orleans.
Free New Orleans.
At this point, it needs to be done. Now, you got to look at this from both sides. First, let's go back to, it was a point in the Houston Golden State game. You can go back and watch the footage. When, I forget who was inbounding the ball. I think it was Iguodala was inbounding the ball. And he inbounds it to Kevin Durant, who's quadruple covered. Klay Thompson's wide open on the wing, and he ignores him. Klay was not happy about that. Then they go, and I wrote this down because it was interesting to me. Then the last 5 minutes of regulation, and again it goes overtime, Klay doesn't touch the ball. Then in OT, until he forced a shot over Ryan Anderson, it's the first time he touched the ball. So essentially he was ignored in the first overtime. Now Kenny Smith beat me to the punch, talked about it. It's obvious in his demeanor he's unhappy. So for me, there's only 2 guys on that team that bark and bite. It's Draymond and Klay. Now people get confused with the wavy hair and but Klay has a lot of bark and bite in him. So I don't think it's far-fetched for him to request trade publicly. And like I said, I can't mention this more. Jerry West is not in that building.
Right.
Jerry West is not. Kevin Durant is the go-to guy for Golden State right now. Klay Thompson cannot be happy about that.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, we all say, or we're looking into it and say Klay Thompson's unhappy. Klay Thompson wants a bigger role. Klay Thompson's averaging a half a shot less than he did last year. He's averaging a point and a half less than he did last year.
Yeah, but how much of that is forced and how much of that is
He's getting more minutes. He's getting more minutes this year than he did last year.
Why do you think that is? It's not for the betterment of the team. It's because he's balking in the background.
Why is Klay? He's upset. So they give him more minutes. He gets basically the same number of shots and are averaging basically the same number of points. They're winning at the same clip. Are we reading too much? I think we're reading too much into this.
No, and I don't because, and I'm going to tell you why. This is something, we both have covered NBA players. We both have had conversations with them on camera and off camera. And trust me, when I say off camera, you get a whole nother player.
Right, absolutely.
You'll get a guy that'll tell you, no, Michael Jordan's not the greatest player of all time, but I don't want to deal with them if I say that.
Right.
So when you're dealing with Clay, and you look at the comments that have come out about him not taking a step back and Durant having to catch up, and we're all going to get our same shots. Those things don't just fall off trees. Those are rooted in the ground. That mindset is rooted in the ground. And I'm telling you, you can't tell me as a man, forget that competitor, but as a man, I have to fall back to let a guy in front of me who's never done what I've done on my worst day.
Yeah, but how much falling back is, what I'm saying is, how much falling back is he really doing? Like he's getting the same shots.
But he's not getting them when he got them. He's not getting the moments where he got them. And how much of those shots are forced? I haven't watched enough Golden State games to really chart how many are forced. But when I'm watching a man force a shot who's a fluid player now, Klay Thompson's a fluid player. He's not a guy that puts the ball on the floor and goes ISO.
Right.
He's a guy that runs through the motion offense. When he's forcing shots and being ignored at critical moments in the game, when he's not open, but wide open, there's a problem.
Okay.
We got issues. So, yeah, I think he's out. Now, the second part of that is, it's the borrow phrase from First Take, ask a 9, ask a 10, ask 11, to think in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you.
The Golden State Warriors were Nerlens Noel. Now, the Houston Rockets could use him.
They could.
But I don't want Patrick Beverley.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that.
So, you wanted to talk about, is it time to move from Nerlens? I've said since training camp they need to get rid of everybody and let Embiid play the year, but get rid of him too and build it around Simmons. So, or not so much build it around Simmons, but start anew. The blocks are flawed. The foundation is flawed. We're now sitting here almost 20 games in.
Almost, yeah.
And they won't let Nerlens Noel play. Okay. Nerlens is recouping from it. I know you don't believe me.
Thank you.
That's what they're selling us,
Of
but I'm
course,
not buying it with a 2 for free coupon.
Of course.
They won't let this man on the court. Where or when can they move him? He's not going to Boston. He's not going to Toronto.
No, well, nothing's going to happen until December 15th because that's when all the guys from this offseason can be traded. So you have basically 150 more bodies who can be traded this offseason, who were signed this offseason, can be traded as of December 15th.
And when the smoke clears with Ilyasova and all that.
And then, when everything, and then so then you have more dance partners coming up in a couple of weeks. So now you can move Nerlens Noel to a team, probably a team that's kind of, maybe they lost their big man, maybe they need another spark. I mean, there's names, there's always the same usual suspects, the Toronto's, teams like that. I don't know if Toronto's interested anymore, but there's going to be teams like that who are looking for a big man to complement what they have so far.
See, I'm trying not to curse. This really irks me. Because this is a cycle that the Sixers have. This is a cycle that Philadelphia sports has. And it's this doing a disservice to athletes. They screwed Nerlens from day one. When he wanted to play, this is documented, he wanted to play his rookie year.
Right.
Hinkie wouldn't let him. They promised him all these things that didn't come out. Him and Michael Carter, it was this fabricated beef between him and MCW, which they may have had issues, two young dudes trying to figure out their way in the NBA. But he was upset when they traded him.
Right.
You replace him with guys that are borderline fringe NBA players. Now we're going to diss him because he wants out? Because he's the only one that's really going to say, look, there's a logjam here, and the style of play that we're doing is not conducive to me, and I'm in the final year of my rookie. Look at the way Okafor is put on defense.
Right.
A guy that struggles with lateral quickness, you're putting in space.
Yeah.
So, we'll be right back. NBA Fox.
Climate change is changing our world in more ways than you may think. Because it's not just climate that's changing. People are changing the way they live their lives and the way they see the world. And these changes are the beginning of something huge. It's good. Because we need to act now before the next big storm hits, to strengthen and restore the natural defense system that protects us all from high water and winds. The climate is changing, but so are we. Learn what you can do.
Welcome back to the NBA Files, broadcasting from Gary's Barbershop, 12 East Main Street, Maple Shade, New Jersey. As we go from one player's strife in Nerlens Noel, we'll go to another player's perceived success.
Perceived, okay.
In Joel Embiid. So our 7'1" center that shoots 50% from three and 40% from the paint.
Get buckets.
Our 7'1" center who shoots 50% from the three and 40% from the paint won Eastern Conference Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Surprise
Rookie
or
of the month.
expected?
Rookie of the month.
Rookie of the month. It'll be Rookie of the Year.
He will be.
We said it when we
will
were
be.
filming,
Yeah.
months ago. If he's healthy, he's Rookie of the Year. We
Yeah.
all. But for you, surprise or expected? First month out.
No, because here's the thing. It's like, again, we all saw from the preseason, we saw how special of a guy he was. But let's look at the Eastern Conference, for example. When you, like, in the draft, in the draft, like, most of the high picks went to Western Conference teams. So the Eastern Conference high draft picks, so Jaylen Brown, Jakob Poeltl, like, there were guys who weren't going to have any competition for Joel Embiid for Eastern Conference Rookie of the Year.
You're much more politically correct than me. But behind the scenes, people should see. I got an email from Roy Burton today. It's time to write off this crappy rookie class. His words exactly. This rookie class is garbage. They're whack. So, you got a guy that's playing 20 minutes that's killing everybody.
Yeah.
So Chris Dunn, let me know when you see him on the court.
How's Buddy Hield doing?
Hey, look, man.
How's Buddy Hield doing?
Hey, look, man, they're in flux, but he's okay right now. Talk to me about Chris Dunn. You said he was the next.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, so, but no, I'm not surprised about it.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in Embiid, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. I'm gonna stay on it.
Disappointed.
And I could be jaded in the way that they let the talent of Allen Iverson go to waste. But I see a phenom. I see a talented center who needs coaching, and I see people celebrating him for shooting three-pointers. That's not gangster. I don't want to see my center popping out on a pick and roll.
Yeah.
Get your big butt in the paint.
Yeah, three-pointers are nice. It should be more of a novelty than it is. I mean, the man shot 6 threes the other night. I mean,
3 a game.
That's a lot.
The other night, he had more threes than free throw attempts. I'm not with that, man. I'm not with that at all. But, I want to give him credit. He missed what felt like the equivalent of 2 presidential terms. And he's coming back and he's balling a little bit. I want to see more coaching out of your man, Brett Brown, though, because the jig is up.
That's fair.
The jig is up.
All right, that's fair.
Somebody needs to put Flavor Flav clock around his neck because it's ticking right now. Other players that surprised me, Harrison Barnes. I owe you an apology, and I owe Mark Cuban an apology. Because he's playing well.
He's playing very well. Yeah.
And he's efficient. It's not just numbers.
Right.
He's the highest rated offensive player and defensive player based on the minutes played. I'm impressed by that.
Okay.
And Dwight Howard. Give it to him. Give it to him.
He has a better offensive game now than he ever had
Don't
in
do that to
Houston
that man.
or Orlando.
Hold on.
Just get that man away from Patrick Ewing and look what that man can do on offense. I'm impressed.
He's got
by
seven of his 19. He's got 7 games of 15 or more rebounds. But, and I'm gonna use the phrase tenderness to be politically correct, that he displayed about being whining about offense and not getting the ball. It seems to have evaporated. He's 4 points down from his scoring average, so I'm happy to see Dwight Howard doing well. The final buzzer has sounded on this edition of the NBA Files. If you missed this segment or want to relive any part of the magic, make sure you go to thenbafiles.com. Again, that's thenbafiles.com. We are every Tuesday at 9:30 on WMCN. That's it for this segment. Good stuff. As always, I'm Kwame Fisher-Jones. He's Roy Burton, reminding that there's no I in team, but there's 2 I's in championship. Till next week, be easy.